This starts Chapter 4 for sports statistics. The main idea of this chapter is, does the designated hitter increase offense in Major League Baseball? Now, the designated hitter, for those of you that don't know, is a player who plays on offense but not on defense, usually replacing the pitcher in the batting order. The DH is pretty much, well, not pretty much, it is exclusively used in the American League. The National League does not have the DH. That's why home field advantage in the World Series is so important, because if the American League team gets home field advantage, that means that they can have the DH in more games. So obviously home field is very, very important in that respect. But the question for our chapter, this chapter, is, does the DH increase offense in Major League Baseball? So, just to review, numerical variables versus categorical variables. Okay, numerical variables are if possible outcomes take on numerical values that represent different quantities of that variable. Variables are categorical if the possible outcomes fall into categories. So, for example, okay, they want us to classify the following variables as categorical or numerical. Points scored in the next basketball game. That is numerical. Okay. Whether or not an archer hits his target. Okay. That is categorical, because the result is either hit or miss. Speed of a pitch, numerical. Okay, miles per hour. So you're talking 95 miles an hour, 89 miles an hour, so forth. Outcome of a putt, categorical. Okay, you either make the putt or miss the putt. There's no numbers involved there. Now, what we're going to do in this chapter is we're going to create dot plots. Okay, so you can see an example here. It says here are the run totals for the 14 American League teams and the 16 National League teams for 2008, and they list them out here. And then below here you see the dot plot. Now, they do the National League on the bottom and the American League on the top. And notice they go in increments of 50 here. So the Baltimore Orioles scored 782 runs, so the Baltimore Orioles will probably be somewhere around there. Actually, I'm sorry. Wrong league. Somewhere up here. Okay, they put all the American League results on top, all the National League results on the bottom. Typically, you would do two separate dot plots. You'd do a dot plot for the National League, dot plot for the American League, but here they do one all on the same plot. So all they do is they take the number of runs and they just put a dot, estimating where that's at on the number line here. Also, histogram. Histogram divides the values of a numerical variable into classes and uses bars to represent the number of values in each class. The frequency describes the number of observations in each class. So what they've done is they took this dot plot and they made it into a histogram. Okay, so there were 4 teams that scored between 600 and 650 runs. There were 2 teams that scored from 650 to 700, and so on. Okay, so what you see here is a table for the 2010 World Cup. And what you see is each country that played, how many matches they played, their mean number of goals scored per match. Mean means average. Mean number of goals allowed per match. And then you have your distance covered. What we're going to do is we're going to look here at the next slide. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a dot plot to show the distribution of goals allowed for the 32 teams in the World Cup. Okay? So if you go back, what you're going to do is you're going to take the number of matches played. Okay? So we're going to do matches played times times, I should probably erase this, times the mean number of goals allowed. Okay, so for example, we're going to use this column and we're going to use this column. Oops. This column right here. So we're going to do 3 times 0.67. Well, 0.67 is 2/3. 3 times 2/3 is 2. Okay, so Algeria allowed 2 total goals in the World Cup 2010. So we put a dot at 2. Okay, Argentina, 5 times 1.2 is 6. So we go to 6, make a dot. Australia, 3 matches played, an average of 2 goals, I should say. So they gave up 6 goals total. Now, when you get multiple of the same number, you just want to stack the dots. Brazil, 5 times 0.8. So that's 4. So Brazil allowed 4 goals total. Put a dot at 4. Okay. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Cote d'Ivoire. I think that's how you spell. I don't know. 3 times 1 is 3. Now, 3 is in the middle, so we'll put a dot in the middle. Oh, come on. Come on, let me make a dot. There we go. Okay. Cameroon, 3 times 1.67. 1.67 is 5/3. 3 times 5/3 is 5. So Cameroon gave up 5 goals total. All right. You get the idea. So we keep going. Chile, 4 times 1.25. 5 goals. So we start stacking at 5. Denmark, 3 times 2, 6. Okay, and you're just going to keep going with this. England is 5. France is 4. Again, we're just taking the first column and multiplying by the third column. So 5, 4. Come on, let me do a dot. Okay, Germany, let's see. I guess I have to do some calculations here. So Germany allowed 5 goals. It's 4.97, but it's 5. So again, we're stacking the dots at 5. Ghana, 0.8 times 5 is 4. Okay. Now, we continue with the dot plot in that manner. Okay. Now, the histogram. Now, we're not going to go through the rest of these. That's insane. Okay. However, when it says to create a histogram to show the goals allowed for the 32 teams in the 2010 World Cup, this is what we're going to do. Okay, we make a chart. The frequency always goes on the side. Okay. We'll go in increments of 3. Okay. We have 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6. Now this is goals allowed on the bottom. Pardon my scribble. Okay. 7 to 8, 9 to 10, 11 to 12. Okay. So if we were just going on this dot plot, okay, 2 to 3, well, 3's in the middle right there. So 1 to 2, actually, I'm sorry, 1 to 2, there's only 1. So we would have a very small bar. Now the bars are connected. 3 to 4, 3 to 4 would be 4 of them. So we would go up just a little bit past 3, okay, make a bar. 5 and 6 would be 7, so there'd be 7 of those. And obviously, you would start to get more bars as the more goals you allowed. If we completed this dot plot, if we kept going down this list, we would have all these numbers, and we would have dots out here, and thus we'd be able to have bars here. But again, in the interest of time, I think you guys picked up the gist of it. Okay, so that's how you create a dot plot, and that's how you create a histogram. You are going to be given data. Actually, you're going to be using this table again for your homework. So, again, dot plots and histograms.